What's up, friends? In this video, I want to walk you through exactly how to build your creative style inside of your personal brand or for the personal brands of your clients. So if you're like me and you wear 10,000 hats inside of content marketing when you're working for brands and personal brands, the number one thing that you are going to need is a creative toolkit. You have to start building that out from scratch. And this would probably be a great time to tell you that this video is brought to you by Motion Array, which is an all-in-one platform that has over 2 million creative assets on the post-production side. We've got anything from text, transitions, sound effects, sound design, you name it. When it comes to post-production, they've got it. I can't imagine not having a platform like Motion Array on my side at all times to build exactly what it is I need for success and growth of the brands that I touch and work with. And there's tons of reasons as to why this is super important when it comes to developing your own creative style for yourself or for your clients. And we'll get to that in a little bit. But for now, just know that I want this video to be as actionable as possible for you. So I'm gonna break down the direct strategies and frameworks that I use for myself and for my clients on a daily basis. So without further ado, let's jump into it. So firstly, when I talk about building a creative toolkit, you have to know what is going to go inside of that toolkit. Now, for each brand or personal brand that you're working with, all of that might be just a little bit different. You're gonna wanna get creative inspiration, and how this inspiration is gathered is very important. You wanna look at two things. The first thing is gonna be what creators right now are crushing it when it comes to creative direction. I'm not saying the best on performance level when it comes down to like their numbers and engagement and reach on Instagram or the views and the vanity metrics, basically. I'm not really saying look at that. I'm saying what videos are you most inspired by visually? What assets are inside of those videos, right? Because we're gonna then take Motion Array and find replications of those assets later on down the line. We'll get to that in a bit. But when we start to look at that, you just wanna look at creative only. Now, the second part of this is you want to then go find creators that might still be in that realm or outside of it that are actually crushing it on social. This is where you do want to pull in vanity metrics. You want to look at what are the numbers, what is actually driving the growth, and look at those videos and what assets and direction and things like that are being used inside of those videos. Because when you start to build out a really strong personal brand and a creative style for your brand, two things are important here as well. You want to be able to make content that is not going to allow you to burn out, which is going to be your pure creative, I don't care how this performs on social media type of video. And then you're also going to want content for your brand, for your personal brand that is going to be your growth mechanism. This is the type of content that the algorithm likes. This is the type of content that people share, engage with. This could be your potential viral top of funnel content. And the reason this is so important when you start building these references and you start having this in your toolkit, you are now going to be able to create content that one, allows you to have fun and allows you not to burn out. And then on the other side of this, we're gonna have content that is literally fueling your growth. And growth can be defined in a lot of different ways, right? Is this content allowing your platform to actually get awareness on your brand, get eyes on? Is it helping you get revenue, right? Different things like that. So once we have our creative references and we've put them in our two different buckets, one for growth, one for creative, we're gonna take this a layer deeper. And this is gonna be broken down into a couple different things. You're gonna have pre-production, right? How are these creators producing their content? And then we're gonna have post-production. And then this is where Motion Array will start to fill in. And this is where the assets and all these different things when it comes to building your creative style will really start to develop. So when we look on the pre-production side, we wanna see how are these videos being shot? How are they being scripted? What are the formats that these videos are actually in? And so one of the strategies I use here is to download these videos from top creators and I'll put them inside of Premiere Pro and I will actually cut them up myself and I'll reverse engineer how they're made and start to figure out where all of these pieces were actually laid out. Now, your second strategy for post-production is going to look like this. You want to start looking at the editing styles of your favorite creators, your favorite references, your favorite brands, whatever. You want to look at what assets they're using. What does their sound design look like? How does the post-production process look from start to finish? And the beautiful thing is Motion Array will allow you to craft all of those videos the exact same way because they have all of the assets that you're going to need to do so. And how you actually orchestrate and position and put those pieces together is what starts to develop your creative style. Now, when you take this even a step further, we want to start looking at editing effects. What's being used throughout the video to keep my attention and keep me engaged, keep me hooked. And what's really sick is Motion Array has something called the Motion Array Hub, which I have pulled up here. And what's really unique as well is that a lot of these effects are things that are popular right now on social media. For example, for the sake of time, I'll go through three of my favorites really quickly. The first one's gonna be the film grain that they offer. It's an excellent choice. Second favorite plugin here is gonna be the classic cine style right here. This is a format that is going absolutely crazy on social right now. Even motivational vlog style YouTube content that's getting cut and cropped into that format is doing super well. I also like being able to play with certain things like tone coloring and the hue shift over here. And I also think that like the cartoon and the emboss effects are really solid. I think that there's a lot that honestly musicians and artists, if you're watching, that you can utilize here. Again, there's just a lot of different areas of creativity to explore and things that you can utilize very quickly in your videos to make them pop and stick out when it comes to building your creative style. So when we start looking at this editing process on a level, there's certain things that you need to remember. When it comes to building your creative style, you do not want to be overusing your assets. You don't want to be making so many things happen on screen that these videos become impossible to watch. Hyper editing is a thing of the past, and we're at a place now with social media where the ease of consumption is something I'm constantly thinking about when I'm creating content or building content strategies for clients. As soon as that threshold of this is becoming too hard to watch gets crossed, you're done. Which brings me to my second point. Your branding inside of your videos can come directly from your assets. It can also come from something that is physical, right? Such as a prop. So for me, it's that pencil that I use in really every video. It's somewhere around here, but that is something that I use in every single video to make sure that I am memorable. Additionally, the way that I format my videos and the way that I use my transitions and my text and my sound design is also very memorable. We're creating memorable branding inside of any content across the board. And let me just say this too. When you're responsible for working on 10 to 15 personal brands at a time, the last thing that I want to be doing or having my team do is scour the internet for random assets that are low quality, aren't consistent, and quite frankly, aren't really worth a shit. Time is money, and I'm all about saving time. And even more importantly, you want to limit creative strain as much as possible. I do not have time to be burned out. I'm going to find shortcuts. Motion array is one of the biggest shortcuts you can have, because when I'm editing 100 pieces of content a week for my client roster, I don't need to be farming assets. I can just go to one-stop shop and pull all of them and have them all in folders, have them organized. It's one click to download. It makes my process much more seamless. And again, I'm all about saving time because what? Time is money. So hopefully this video was helpful for inspiring your new direction when it comes to how to build creative style inside of your content or your clients. So do yourself a favor, head on over to Motion Array, check out what they've got to offer, see how it can apply to you, and good luck, go crush it, and let's make some money this year.